You're watching the Brother Henry and You Show.
Engaging. Informative. Inspirational.
Enjoy today's program. Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I'm your host, Henry Harris, and it's such an honor that you have tuned in today. Many of you have been following me all these several weeks. We've been doing a teaching on the origin of offense, and today we're going to bring it to a conclusion. And we're going to be talking about how to deal with someone who is offended. I think this is a very, very vital and relative message and relevant message that the world needs to know. All of us have been there. Some of us still get offended about things, but how do we deal with people who are offended? How many know that we should be gracious, we should be kind, we should be loving in this area with other people who are easily offended or who are highly sensitive about everything? Because if the truth be told, all of us have been there one time or another in our lives. So it's not easy dealing with a person who gets easily offended. Let's just be honest about it. It's not easy. You want to just kind of slap them side of the head and say, come out of it, so to speak. Not telling you to do that, but sometimes we become very impatient with people who are easily offended. If the truth be told, everybody gets offended about something. Everybody does. I still do to this day, but if I do, it's my choice. I don't have to, but it's just my choice. So how do people respond to you when you're offended? Do they seem to be impatient? Do they seem to be irritable with you? We can be a great help to those who are offended by realizing that you were just like them at one time. When I find myself becoming irritable, upset, impatient with others who I think, man, they're just always offended about everything, always complaining, always griping. When I find myself that way, what helps me is, Henry, that's you. You were just like that at one time. And that'll knock you out of your mode of being that way, because you will realize that, hey, I was just like that at one time, and somebody was patient with me, somebody was gracious towards me, somebody loved me enough to help me come out of that. So I need to extend that to someone else. So how we respond to offense sometimes will determine if the situation will get worse or better. It all depends on how you respond to offense. One thing I had to understand was someone's offense doesn't mean I offended them. It could be something personal. Sometimes we think they offended me. Well, sometimes it could be something just personally with you that you need to deal with internally in your own heart. It's not always a matter of somebody offended you or they said this to me or they did that. Sometimes it could be something within yourself as well. You could be someone's healing in this area. You got to understand they're already hurt. They're crying out. I think sometimes people who deal with offense, they're crying out for help. They just don't know how to go about doing it. So those who are offended oftentimes don't even acknowledge it or realize that that they have offense in their life. So it is vital that we take full ownership of those feelings and emotions and either process them in private or process them with someone that you trust. And just get with them and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm dealing with. I get easily offended about everything. I get overworked about everything. Everything irritates me. Everything makes me mad. Don't get upset with them. Don't say, oh, I don't know why you got to feel that way. Don't tell them to get over it, because what did I say earlier? Many times, how we approach someone will determine if that offense in their life will get better or if it gets worse. You want to try to minimize that. You want to try to help them. You don't want to add to it. So when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that someone is offended, this is what you can do to help. Number one, you need to engage in conversation. This means be real, one-on-one, raw, just talk. And you need to listen to them. Engage in conversation. Why do you feel this way? In what ways can I help? Don't go to them like you're Dr. Phil and that you have all the answers. Just be a listening ear. Engage in conversation. Number two, remain calm. I've had people come to me in the past. I was all worked up. How dare you? And I regret that I was that way. But remain calm with people. Number three, learn and understand. And number four, be relatable. Try to connect in some way. Tell them, hey, I know where you're at. I was there at one time. I still struggle that way in some area. And by connecting with them, by being relatable to them, it actually makes them take a deep breather. And it makes them feel more comfortable with you, to engage with you, to talk to you, because they're like, wow, I'm not the only one going through this. Henry is going through it too. How many get what I'm saying? Sometimes letting the person know who's dealing with offense that you have similar experiences, sometimes that does help them in some form or fashion. You need to know that some people are offendable, and you have those who are undefendable. If you tend to be an undefendable person, you should understand why that individual feels the way that they feel. That's what it's all about. Sometimes people just need a listening ear. They just want somebody to understand where they're at on their journey of offense. Never make a quick judgment towards the offended or respond quickly without understanding them or their story. Believe it or not all the time a person is offended about something. Sometimes they just want to be heard. I cannot tell you how many times that I've been in situations where I was accused of being offended when in reality I wasn't. But the fact that they accused me of being offended about something that I know I wasn't offended about offended me. It did. It's like I just went through an ordeal here recently. Look at you. You're offended. You're offended. We're quick to say somebody's offended. What if it's not offense? And this goes back to being able to identify what offense is. What did we talk about in the first episode? The why, the who, the what, the where, the when of offense. You got to know those things in order to help somebody deal with offense. You got to be able to identify if this person is offended or if they just need some healing or if they just need some help. Every response is not offense. Every response does not come from a place of offense. Sometimes people just want to be heard, and I know what that's like because I've been told. People will make those accusations. You're offended, look at you. You want to respond that way if you weren't offended. You just pointed your finger of accusation towards that person. You can make it worse. Keep that in your mind. Always keep in mind that it's not about you in that moment. It's about them. It's not about your emotions in that moment. It's not about your feelings in that moment. It's about them. You're there to help them in their process. But sometimes we can be so focused on ourselves and me and mine, my problems and my issues that we take our mind off of the person that's sitting across the table from us, but we're focused on ourselves. No, it's about them in that moment. Don't take away from their moment. Don't take away from their moment. If you cannot rightfully identify if the person is offended or just need a listening ear, just please do me a favor. Just don't engage with them, period. Don't talk to them, period. because you're not a help to them or the situation. Never contradict an offended person. Just listen. Sometimes we try to contradict, and what I mean by contradict an offended person, that means if they come to you and they open up to you about something, we'll try to make it like, well, that's not a reality. That didn't happen. How dare you say that? You know, you're not really offended, child. You know, you're not offended. Just blow it off. You just contradicted them, which could make them worse. Don't contradict them. Don't try to figure them out. Don't try to figure out what they're saying. Just listen. My advice would be think before you speak. And also consider what I am about to say. Will it help them or will it hurt them? And the choice is left up to you. You can either help them heal the deep wounds of offense that they have in their lives, or you can create a deeper wound with the wounds that they already have.
Hi, my name's Heather. Thank you for watching the Brother Henry and You show today. If you've enjoyed the show today, visit us at facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You show. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day.